Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's online session for the subject Science and Technology, Section A. Yesterday, we have got ourselves introduced with two subtopics from chapter number 4, Effects of Electric Current. The topics were electric motor and electric generator. Today, we are going to study in details about both these devices, their construction, working, and if time permits, we will start with a little bit of textual exercise. So, let us move towards our first topic, electric motor. As I have told you yesterday, electric motor, you remember a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. So electrical into mechanical. See here, EM, that is known as electric motor. And electric generator, a device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy, is known as electric generator. At least this word generator you have used, you have heard in a large number of cases. Now we begin with our first topic, that is electric motor. Now first we will go towards its construction. For construction, we will first just refer the diagram on the previous slide of electric motor. Now here you can see in the electric motor, there is an armature coil. What does an armature coil mean? A large number of turns of insulated copper wire wrapped or wound on a wooden iron core in the rectangular shape. You can see this in the form of a rectangle. It forms an armature coil. Here it is A, B, C, D. Be very thorough with the topic. A large number of turns of insulated copper wire. The copper wire which is having a proper insulation wound on an iron core in a rectangular shape. It forms an armature coil A, B, C, D. Our next construction here you can see strong magnet. Now this armature coil, it is placed between the two pole pieces, that is north pole and south pole of a strong magnet. This provides strong magnetic field. Our third, you can say, part of the electric motor is split ring commutator. Split ring, split you can see here. Split means broken up. So a ring broken into two. So this electric motor, it consists of two halves. Here you can see split rings X and Y of a metallic ring. The ends of the armature coil, you can see the ends of the armature coil are connected to these rings, and it is also known as split ring commutator. What is the function of commutator? It reverses the direction of current in the armature coil. Fourth part are your brushes. Two carbon brushes, you can see here E and F. These are the two carbon brushes. They are used to press the commutator or the split ring. And fifth part is very important. It is not given in your textbook, but it is the base of electric motor, that is the presence of a battery, and this battery, it supplies the current in the armature coil. Now let us go towards our construction. First is armature coil. We have discussed everything. Second is strong magnet. Third is split ring commutator. Fourth, brushes. And fifth one is battery to supply the current in the coil. Now the main difference between an electric motor and generator is electric motor functions with the help of battery, whereas a battery to supply the current is not required in an electric generator. So where you have to be careful while drawing the diagram in the exam. While drawing the diagram of electric motor, if battery is not shown, then you will get a straight away 0, because there is no other use of your other parts of the motor if battery is not there to supply the current. You have air conditioner in the house, you have made the entire setup, switchboard, everything is there, but the current is not there, then your AC won't work. Any electrical device, it won't work without the presence of current. So similarly here is for electric motor. Now let us see how it works. The working of an electric motor. Now for the motor to work, as I have told you, you require the presence of a battery. So when the circuit is completed, as you can see here in this given figure or the diagram of electric motor, the current, it flows in the branch AB in the armature coil AB. You can see the arrows. While drawing the diagram, you have to take care of the direction of the arrows. Now the current flows in the branch AB of the loop from point A to point B through the carbon brushes E and F. Now since the direction of the magnetic field, it is always from the north pole to the south pole, according to the application of Fleming's left hand rule. What does Fleming's left hand rule tell us? That the index finger is in the direction of magnetic field, middle finger points in the direction of current, then the direction of thumb is the direction of force on the conductor. So according to the Fleming's left hand rule, here a force is exerted on this branch AB in the downward direction and it pushes it down. Now the current in this branch of the armature coil, that is CD, it is in an opposite direction to that of the AB branch. Now you can see here, this arrow is in the upward direction, this arrow is in the downward direction. And what happens over here? A force is exerted on branch CD in the upward direction. Now here the loop, that is the armature coil, and the axle, this is the axle, they start rotating in an anti-clockwise direction, and after half rotation, the two halves of the split ring, that is X and Y, they come in contact with the carbon brushes F and E, and the current in the loop starts flowing in the direction DCBA, anti-clockwise direction. Now the force which is exerted on this branch is in the downward direction and branch BA is in the upward direction, and the loop continues to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction, and thus the current in the loop is reversed after every half rotation, and the loop and axle, they continue to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. Or in simple words, I will explain you about the motor. Now when the current, it is passed through the armature coil ABCD, both the arms AB and CD, they experience a force, and according to the Fleming's left hand rule, the force which is experienced by arm AB is in the downward direction and CD is in the upward direction. Now both these forces, they are equal and opposite. The force, it rotates the coil in the clockwise direction until the coil is vertical. At this position, what happens? The contact between the commutator and the brushes, it breaks. So the supply of current to the coil is cut off, and hence here now no force acts on the coil. But the coil, it does not stop due to inertia. You have studied in the 9th standard. What is inertia? The tendency of a body to continue with its state of rest or state of motion. So due to inertia, the coil does not stop and it goes on rotating until the commutator, once again, it comes in contact with this brushes, that is E and F. Now again the current, now again it is in contact with both the brushes. So again the current starts passing through the coil, and now this arm AB, it rotates through 90 degree, 180 degree, 270 degree and 360 degree, and now the force which is acting on arm AB is in the downward direction and CD is in the upward direction. Again now this force, it moves the coil in clockwise direction, and thus the armature coil, it rotates with the help of electrical energy, and the coil of this electric motor, it continues to rotate in the same direction. So then this way I have explained you about the working in very simple way. Now you have heard about the uses of electric motor. it is used in n number of devices. It is used in mixers, you can see electric train, electric cars, hair dryers, refrigerators, washing machines, tape recorders, electric lifts, and so many places the electric motor is used. After studying the construction and working of electric motor, now we are going to just focus on one of the small activities which is on page number 57 of your textbook. Try this. You know galvanometer topic is removed out from the syllabus. So what activity we have over here? On page number 57, you can see in the first figure, here you can see galvanometer, here you can see a solenoid coil. So first case, when the current in the solenoid coil is switched on or off, what happens? First you have to complete the circuit as it is shown here in this first figure. Now what will you observe? Now in this experiment, if we open the plug key, if you open the plug key and make the current 0 in the coil, the pointer of the galvanometer deflects to a side and quickly it comes back to 0. Now if the current in the coil is started again, the pointer, it will again deflect to the other side and quickly return back to 0. Now when the electrical current is flowing through the solenoid coil and the solenoid coil is displaced with respect to the coil, the current is still produced in the coil. Even if the solenoid coil, it is kept stationary, it is stable. A change in the current in the solenoid coil, it produces a current C in the coil. Means what? Even if the solenoid coil is kept stationary, a change in the current in the solenoid coil, it will produce a current in this coil, and if the solenoid coil is moved towards or away from the coil, we see a deflection in the galvanometer. This is our first observation. If the solenoid coil is moved towards or away from the coil, we see the deflection in the galvanometer. Now if the current in the solenoid coil is changed, what will happen? A current is produced in the coil, or if the solenoid coil is moved towards the coil, then also a current is produced in the coil, and here larger or faster is the displacement of solenoid, then larger you will see the galvanometer deflecting. This is a small activity. So on this activity, diagrams can be provided to you in the exam and questions can be asked. How do you come to know about the production of current, or what happens when the current in the solenoid coil is changed? So prepare with this activity. After this activity, we are going to study a small concept, Faraday's law of induction. Now here you can see, if a current is switched on or off in the solenoid coil, what happens? A current is induced in this coil, and such an induction, it is also observed when the current in the solenoid coil is either increased or decreased. And what you can infer over here is, current is induced in the coil when it is moved aside from front of the solenoid. And you have heard about induction cooker, induced, produced, and that is known as Faraday's law of induction. So whenever the number of magnetic lines of force passing through the coil changes, current is induced in the coil. This is known as Faraday's law of induction, and the current which is produced in the coil is called induced current. So it can be asked in the exam, state Faraday's law of induction. Now in this chapter you have already studied two rules. One, you have studied Fleming's left hand rule, and we have studied the right hand thumb rule. Now the last rule which we are going to study is Fleming's right hand rule. Last time we had studied Fleming's left hand rule. Now we will see Fleming's right hand rule. Here you have to stretch the thumb, the index finger and the middle finger of your right hand in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular to each other. In this position, the thumb, it indicates the direction of motion of the conductor, the index finger, the direction of magnetic field, and the middle finger, it will show the direction of induced current, and this rule is known as Fleming's right hand rule. Even if you make a small amount of changes, you will get a 0 because a rule or a law which is set ahead of us, it should be written in the same way as it is given in the textbook. So first, if it is asked for 2 marks, then first half a mark is for writing this part, index finger, middle finger, how they should be in which position. Next 1 mark, half mark for indication of thumb, half mark for indication of index field, and half mark for the indication of middle finger. So in this way the 2 marks are distributed. Now we move to the last topic of this chapter, electric generator. What is the main difference between motor and generator? I have already told you that motor, it works on the basis of electrical energy, whereas for the function of electric generator, a battery is not required. So it works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. Remember, electric generator, it works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. What is the concept of this working over here? When the coil of the electric generator, this is your armature coil, same like electric motor, when it rotates in the magnetic field induces a current in the coil, and this induced current then flows into the circuit which is connected to the coil. So here current is not supplied from outside, but the current is induced in the coil when the coil, it rotates in the magnetic field. So who induces a current here? It is the magnetic field which induces a current. And there are 2 types of electrical generators. One is AC generator and one is DC generator. AC means alternating current generator and DC means direct current generator. But from your syllabus, DC generator they have removed out from the syllabus. So we are going to study only about the AC generator. So let us study about its construction. Before construction, I had already told you, a device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Exactly, you can say vice versa, or in contrast with the working of electric motor, that is known as electric generator. Construction here, the main components are armature coil, same like electric motor. So I have not written the description over here. Strong magnets, that is the armature coil is placed between 2 pole pieces of a strong magnet which supplies strong magnetic field. The main difference here is conducting rings. There in the case of motor, 1 ring was split into 2 halves, whereas for electric AC generator you can see 2 rings, 2 conducting rings, that is R1 and R2. Clearly you can see both the rings. Then brushes, carbon brushes, you can see here B1, B2, they are also same like electric motor. So armature, strong magnets and brushes are the same as they are used in electric motor. About the split rings, I have told you the 2 ends of the armature coil, they are connected to 2 split rings, that is R1 and R2, and these rings they rotate along with the armature coil. Now let us study about its working. We have understood the construction. The main difference I have told you, do not show battery in the construction. Working. Now when this armature coil ABCD, it rotates in the magnetic field which is produced by both the strong magnets, it cuts the magnetic lines of force and thus the changing magnetic field, it produces induced current in the coil. In the beginning only I had told you in the principle of electric generator that the magnetic field, it induces a current in the coil. Which magnetic field? The magnetic field when the coil of generator, it rotates in it. Now the direction of the induced current, it is determined by Fleming's right hand rule over here. Keep this in mind always. Motor, application of Fleming's left hand rule, and for AC generator it is Fleming's right hand rule, because if you just write it vice versa, marks will be deducted. Now the current, it flows out through the first brush B1 in one direction, in first half of the revolution and then through brush B2 in the next half of the revolution, and in the reverse direction this process is again repeated, and hence the induced current produced here is of alternating nature, and such a current is called alternating current, and hence the generator is called as AC generator because it produces current which is of alternating nature. Now actually direct current and alternating current, it is a topic which they have again removed out from the syllabus. In simple terms I will tell you, direct current means what? The magnitude and direction of the current is constant, which you can see in motor, and alternating current, the magnitude and direction of the current, it reverses periodically. Then direct current, this type of current, it cannot be used on large scale of electricity or household purposes, but alternating current, it is used in your electrical household appliances such as heaters, irons, refrigerators. So the current which is produced by the electric AC generator is of alternating nature, and hence it is called as AC generator or alternating current generator. You can see it's working over here. With this, we complete the explanation for chapter number 4. The main concepts to be studied in this chapter thoroughly are the Joule's law of heating along with the circuit diagram, then the appliances which are based on heating effect of electric current, then the magnetic field which is produced due to the current in the solenoid or current passing through a circular loop of a conducting wire. After that electric motor, electric generator, and all the three rules along with the diagrams of AC generator and the motor. Topics are a little bit difficult for you to grasp, so more and more reading is essential in this chapter. Once you understand the working, now this working I have you can say made it in my own words. If you refer the working in the textbook, very complicated they have given. So if you understand properly and if you write in your own words the working, then also if logically and scientifically it is correct, you will get full marks in the exam. Only the theme, only the principle should remain same. Now still we have some time, so let us complete a little bit of our textual exercise. Question number 1. DC generator, as I have told you, the topic is removed from your syllabus, so only and only we are going to study about the AC generator. Question number 1 says, tell the odd one out, give proper explanation. Tell the odd one means find the odd man out. First question, fuse wire, bad conductor, rubber gloves, generator. Now looking at the options which are given, fuse wire or a bad conductor and rubber gloves, these three are used as safety measures to prevent from electric shock or electric current, whereas generator is something which produces current. So which is the odd man out? It is generator. Generator is the odd man out. Generator produces current, whereas others are safety measures against current. Next question, question B. Voltmeter, ammeter, galvanometer, thermometer. Look at the four options. You can clearly see that thermometer is the odd man out. Why? Because thermometer is used to measure the temperature of a body, whereas this voltmeter, ammeter, galvanometer, they are the components of electric circuit, whereas thermometer you never see in an electric circuit. So the odd man out is thermometer. Thermometer measures the temperature, whereas others are used in an electric circuit. Next, loudspeaker, microphone, electric motor, magnet. Now here you can see loudspeaker, microphone or electric motor. Magnet is the odd man out because all the other three, they are related to magnetic effect of electric current, whereas magnet is not. Or you can give any other justification in your own words also. These three devices, they convert the energy from one form to the other, whereas magnet does not. The main, you can say logically, your whatever substance or whatever option you are removing it out as the odd one, then proper explanation should be given. With this, we complete with discussion of question number 1. Question number 2 is very simple. I will just mark for you in the textbook. Question number 2 says, it can be asked for 5 marks. Explain the construction and working of the following and draw a neat label diagram and label it. First one is electric motor. Now, this is the construction which I have written in very short. If you don't want this construction, you can just refer the construction which is given on page number 56. Page number 56. Keep your textbooks ready. Page number 56, the very first paragraph is construction of electric motor. Now they have given it in the form of paragraph. I have just segregated it. In construction, first will come your armature coil. In short, explanation. Then strong magnet, its explanation. What explanation here you will give? The armature coil is placed between two strong pole pieces of a magnet to produce magnetic field. Then split ring commutator, its explanation. Brushes, and it is not given in the textbook, but add this part, battery. Battery supplies current to the armature coil. For working, see, I have written here, refer page number 56. Your second paragraph on page number 56 is the working. You just refer this paragraph, shorten up the points and prepare your working. Now they have given, when the circuit is completed, the current flows in the branch AB of the loop from A to B, and everything in short you have to write. The main thing is the application of Fleming's left hand rule, how the current in the loop, it starts flowing in the direction from ABCD, then DCBA, all that you have to show in the working. And of course, they have told draw a neat label diagram. So diagram 4.13 from page number 56 is your neat label diagram for electric motor. It can be asked in the exam in many ways. Either they can give the diagram drawn to you and they will tell you to label the parts, or they can ask a diagram and construction of the electric motor, or they can ask diagram and working, or they will not ask the diagram, they will only ask you about the construction or working. You have to be prepared in all ways. And the next question is the construction and working of electric generator. Here again I have segregated the construction in 4 parts: armature, strong magnets, conducting rings and brushes. So about this 3, you can give the explanation from electric motor. Only the change is with the split ring. Here you cannot say split ring. Here you have to show about conducting rings. So in your textbook, if you want to mark page number 59, the last paragraph is the construction. Page number 59, last paragraph is the construction. And for the working, you can just refer page number 6060. The first paragraph near diagram 4.20 is your working. Here also, as I have told you, for electric motor, I have given you the entire paragraph. You can shorten it up, shorten the points and write the working. Diagram here is 4.20 from your textbook. That is the diagram for this question. So question number 2, I hope you have followed. Why I have not marked the points and all, just reading from the textbook the points makes no sense, because such a big paragraph you will not write in the exam. You will write it in your own words by decreasing the length of the points. Now just we will complete a small question. Question number 3. It is a type of MCQ. Electromagnetic induction means, 4 options are given. Charging of an electric conductor? No. Production of magnetic field due to a current flowing through a coil? Surely not. Generation of current in a coil due to the relative motion between the coil and the magnet? Little bit. This means electromagnetic induction. Let us see the 4th option. Motion of the coil around the axle in an electric motor. This is also wrong. So C is your correct option. Generation of current in a coil due to the relative motion between the coil and the magnet. I have told you what is electromagnetic induction. So that definition you should see where it is applied, where it is matching with the given option. So it can be asked as an MCQ in the exam. Question number 3 is over. Question number 4, just put a cross. It is omitted because the question is explain the difference between AC and DC generator. As DC generator is removed out, this question will not be asked in the exam. So question number 4, just put a cross. Question number 5, I will just read the question. Which device is used to produce electricity? And describe with a neat label diagram. Which is used to produce electricity? Motor? No. It works on the basis of electricity. Galvanometer? No. Electric generator? Yes. Voltmeter? No. So the correct answer is C, electric generator. And in the bracket there they have given DC. You only make it AC. And then you know how to draw the diagram and all in the previous question only. In this question you can see about the construction and working of DC generator. So this label diagram they have told describe with a neat diagram. Then here you don't have to show the construction. You will only draw the diagram and state its working. That is enough. So enough for today. We have completed with the understanding of both the concepts electric motor and electric generator. Also, we have discussed a part of textual exercise up to question number 5. So, in our next session on Saturday, we will complete our textual exercise, and then Monday and Tuesday, if possible, to arrange with the lecture for Monday. Both the days I will be revising chapter number 2 and 6 I will combine, and on Tuesday I will revise chapter number 3 for you before your second online assessment. So be prepared with that, and on Saturday we will just continue with the discussion of textual exercise. So at the same time, children, keep on studying as your just take this exam, second online assessment, as your board exams only, and be well prepared with whatever chapters we are having. At the same time, stay at home, stay safe. Thank you, dear children.